What's going on, my good people? Mike Hidalgo here. Thank you for joining me on another FCP Euro DIY. Today, we're going to be working on a 2018 Volkswagen Atlas. Today on the Atlas behind me, we're going to be covering how to service your front differential, aka your bevel box. In front of us, we have a Liquimoly kit, which is available on fcpo.com. It includes all the fluid, the drain, and fill plugs that you need for this service. Typically, we recommend differential services to be done every 50,000 miles or so. However, Volkswagen doesn't really put out a solid number on that. You hear 40,000 miles being thrown around. A good rule of thumb, honestly, is if you're going to be servicing your Hidalgo system, which is every 3 years per Volkswagen, then we recommend that you do the rear diff fluid and the front differential all at the same time. It's pretty inexpensive, and it's going to be a pretty straightforward and easy DIY on your MQB chassis vehicle. But before we get started on that, let's take a look at some of the tools you're going to need for this DIY. For this DIY, you're going to need very basic tools. We have a 5mm hex spit. We're going to be using a 1/4-inch ratchet. We also have a torque wrench. We have CTA 7073. This is going to help us fill the differential with fluid. And we have some brake clean just to clean the casing. Not pictured here, but needed, of course, is going to be a catch pan, something to catch the old fluid in. Some shop towels come in handy. We'll be using a picture just to show you A, how much fluid actually comes out of the casing, and B, what 60,000 mile, pretty sure original fluid looks like. Now with that, let's go ahead and get started on this DIY. All right, my good people, we are under the Atlas. One thing to note, whenever you're doing any sort of transmission or differential or transfer case, Haldex, whatever it may be, always make sure that the vehicle's nice and level, whether you're using a lift, the vehicle's on the floor, on the shop, or in the driveway. As long as the vehicle's level, you'll have no problem. On our, for sake of this video, we'll call it differential. I know it's called the bevel box. We have our drain plug, which is located right below here on the passenger side of things underneath our axle. Behind the axle output, if you will, we have the fill plug. So it's a little bit harder to see, but you can get at it with an extension and your 5mm hex. So like always, perfect rule of thumb is always going to be to crack the fill before you go ahead and crack the drain. That way, A, it can drain a lot easier, and B, you know that you'll be able to fill it up afterwards. It always helps to do this after a quick drive, thinning up the fluid a little bit by getting some heat into it. Just helps to drain a little bit easier. We're going to be using a pitcher today just to catch the fluid to A1, see what this fluid looks like. I'm suspecting it's original 60,000 mile fluid, and B, just to see how much we get out of it. So with that, let's get in there. We'll crack that 5mm free, get the plug out, and then we'll go over to the drain. Okay, now that we have the fill plug out, we can go ahead and crack the drain plug. I'm going to use, again, like I said, a pitcher, but situate your catch pan now to get that fluid out if you haven't done so already. And let's see how much we get out and what color this is in. Always make sure that bit is situated all the way in first. So the nice and dark color, not horrible. It's not the worst we've seen. It looks like original 60,000 mile fluid. So we're going to give this its time to drip and drain completely. And then we'll pick it back up in a moment by installing our new drain plug, and we'll see how much we get out of it. So we have just under a liter out. We have about 880, 890. We'll call it 900. So definitely more than enough with our Liquimoly kit. Again, 60,000 miles. This looks like cold brew. So while it's not horrible looking while it's coming out, once you let it kind of pile up in a container like this, this is what is floating inside of your differential. So again, definitely recommend staying on top of that service. Once you're doing your Haldex fluid, which is probably the most rigorous one that needs attention out of all three of these, just do all three at once. You already have the vehicle set up, and it's pretty cheap insurance for what could happen if you don't service them. So let me clean up my 5mm hex. Took a little bath in the pitcher there. Give this a little bit of a wipe. Now we can get our new drain plug situated. Again, these come with new crush washers already pre-installed. Just make sure that they're still on there when you go to put it in. And now we're going to snug this down to 19 Newton meters. There we go. All right. Now we're going to fill the case with our gear oil. Again, we have our liquid moly here. These typically have a pouring tube or telescoping tube that comes inside of them. Sometimes they're really helpful for filling up cases or transmissions when there's room. In this case, we don't really have that kind of room to use it. So I just popped it out using a flathead screwdriver so I can get my syringe tool in there and fill it up from there. We're going to fill this casing until it starts to dribble out of the case, and then we can go ahead and install our fill plug. So keep your catch pan situated, and then we're going to get a little bit cozy in there and start filling it with fluid. Now we can feed in our 5mm hex fill plug. I'm just going to use the extension and the bit to kind of help me get it started. Always start these by hand. All right, we're gonna get our torque wrench in there, see if we can snug this baby down. Same thing, 19 Newton meters. There we go, baby. All right, and with that, that is nice and filled, all sealed up. We're gonna hit it with some brake clean. And then as an added bonus, if you want, now is a great time to mark your fill and drain plug, just to A, show that you've torqued it down, and B, maybe you're working on someone else's car. It's just like nice peace of mind, nice insurance showing that you were actually in here and you did some good work. And with that, my good people, that is going to conclude this DIY for today. Overall, a really easy and straightforward job on the Atlas, also the MQB chassis vehicles. Hopefully you liked this video. If so, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments on what we did today, leave those in the comment section below. And if you like this DIY and you want to see more like them, please consider subscribing. We make new ones all the time, including more on the Atlas coming soon. Thank you for watching. Catch you on the next one.